Winnie, you can't wear that. Tobias frowns at my clothes. I have no idea why he is sitting with me on the private jet, but apparently, he has taken on the role of a personal dresser. Take it all off. What? And get naked. You have underwear, don't you? And there is no need to get shy. I only have eyes for my wife. Tobias says those words with fire in his eyes. Undoubtedly, his words are the truth, but that still doesn't mean I want to be looked at. If you want me to wear that dress, give it to me and look away. Take a seat and look out through the window. Fine. Tobias hands me an emerald dress and sits down in a beige leather seat. Put that on. I should focus on putting on the dress, but my eyes go to Tobias when he no longer looks at me. His cheek rests against his knuckles as he stares through the window, and I am momentarily stunned by him. Hannah is a lucky woman, don't get me wrong. I like Jake, but Tobias. He is arguably the most gorgeous man I've ever seen. It's too bad he is possibly the grumpiest too. So, fucking bossy. I'm not hearing you change clothes. I blink to focus and swallow thickly. I'm on it. I swear to God, he has spider senses. As I take off my clothes, Tobias mutters, I can't believe you were about to wear sweatpants to a fancy dinner. I grimace. I have no idea how, but Tobias is such an angel around Hannah. He tends to her every need and spoils her rotten with presents, kisses everywhere on her body, and sex. But whenever Tobias is alone with the twins and me, he is just pure scary, and when he does smile, it's usually that intimidating fake kind of grin that lets you know that you fucked up. Well, I'm glad you've given me this beautiful dress. I smile as I spin around with it, emphasizing its beauty. Thank you so much. He glances at me. It was Hannah that picked it out. His facial expression softens at the mention of his wife. She is pregnant, so she can't fly right now, which is why I want this to be over with quickly. Oh, you want to go home to Hannah? Tobias narrows his eyes, but then the scary thing happens. His lips curve into an ice-cold smile, and his dazzling teeth shows. He looks like a predator, and I shudder in my own skin. Once you get it on with one of my brothers, you won't make fun of me anymore. Instead, wish for them to treat you exactly how I treat my queen of a wife, Winnie. You will understand it then. But if they don't give you the attention you seek, I will remind you of this conversation and laugh at you. Karma is a bitch. He is so scary. I stare at his smile, trembling lips, and eyes crawling up my spine like rapid fire. How could Hannah marry this vulture? How do you know I will end up with one of your brothers? Natural instinct, you're like Jake. I knew it. He has psychic abilities. Wary of his magical powers, I reluctantly take a seat in front of Tobias. I hope the flight will be over soon too. I want to spend time with humans, not demons. What was that? Nothing. Ads by Pub Future. Calling Tobias a demon is probably the most fitting description of him. He is impeccably dressed in a fine grey suit. His brown hair is shining in the sunlight coming in through the window, and his emerald eyes are sharp with focus. I swear I go a little weak. But it's all ruined when his scary smile is aimed my way to remind me of his personality. Winnie, I jump in my seat. Yes, I've always seen you as a sister, but if you fuck up this fancy dinner tonight and don't manage to make Jake leave this other woman, I will hate you forever. You can't have him marry her. I snort. Do you have a problem against Kelly too? No, but his smile goes kind. But I've always hoped you would end up with one of the twins, and if you score with Jake, I don't have to worry about him stealing my wife. I can't stop the laughter coming up my throat. Why are you worried Jake would steal Hannah? That would never happen. Hannah would never leave Tobias. She is way too in love with him. They are in a chat group together for baking. Tobias mutters and glares out through the window. I'm afraid she will one day discover she has more in common with Jake than with me. 1. You are being silly. He breathes a laugh. Perhaps. I trust Hannah, and I love her, but there are times even I feel insecure. He looks at me, and the soft expression on his face is only reserved for Hannah. When she is near, or when he is talking about her, that's the time it shows. Love does that to a person. It makes things harder. Oh, I smirk at him knowingly. You're such a sly bastard. Are you trying to tell me not to be afraid when it comes to Jake? He smirks. I'm not answering that. Later that day, I step out of my cab and onto the curb outside Plaza Hotel. I'm wearing high heels, yet I'm still dwarfed by a suit. Wearing Mark, who comes to lock my arm. With his, "Wow, aren't I a lucky man tonight?" He grins at me, gorgeous with his dark haircut. Shorter on the sides and a black dress. Plastered to his huge, muscular body. That dress suits you. And the blonde hair looks so nice when you have put it up in that pin. Thank you. I'm actually a bit shy as I speak. Mark has shaved, and he smells delicious. My voice is shaky. You look good too. Grinning, he puts a protective hand on the small of my back. And there go my ovaries. I can feel them bursting into flames at his touch. I might be in love with Jake, but Mark and Jake, they are twins, and both are so similar that my brain is confused. One. And every goddamn man in their family seems blessed with good genes. But I suppose Mark is leaning more toward the beautiful people category, while Jake is rougher around the edges. We are going to be the sexiest pair inside, but no, I haven't forgotten that this is a plan to make Jake jealous. He winks at me. You will be doing me a favor getting rid of Kelly. I feel bad about stealing Kelly's man, but you're right, I have to tell Jake that I like him. I don't deserve him, yet I must let him know he has options, even though I'm rotten. I grimace. You're not rotten. Really. No. You're a catch once you mature a little, he laughs. It might take a while, but at least you are aware of the problem, right? What is the problem? You take people for granted, his words cut like knives, and Mark laughs out loud when I wince. Sorry. Too honest. No. I needed to hear that. I mumble. Mark chuckles. You actually did. I glare at him, but he simply smiles and leads me up the stairs. Someone immediately recognizes him, and we are let inside immediately. The Plaza Hotel is all fancy. I'm pretty sure Tobias bought this place but kept the old name, which is why we have a discount at the bar. Wow, this place is huge. I whisper while looking up at the high ceiling far above my head. Countless people wearing dresses are mingling, and I smile while Mark drags me toward the restaurant area. I would get lost checking out the furniture if he weren't holding my hand. It really is fancy pantsy, huh? Mark says. The food will be. He is interrupted by a loud giggle, and we both turn our heads. The hockey team is already sitting by a table, and Jake and his date are heading there too. The pair isn't that far from us, and Kelly, I assume, is squeezing Jake's arm and giggling. This suit is definitely too small for you. Baby, you look ready to bust through the seams. Jealousy bubbles up within my chest when Kelly, the little slut, leans in to kiss my man over his chest. He is wearing a suit. But that is still my goddamn territory and wait, oh my god, when did I become such a bitch? I shouldn't hate on Kelly. She hasn't done anything wrong. What is the matter with me? I stand there, shocked by my thoughts, until Jake turns around, and my mind goes blank. He is wearing a black suit like Mark and looks like a man girls would flock to. Such a gorgeous piece of ass. Jake is just as attractive as his brother, but the difference here is that my heart goes thump 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 when we lock eyes. But what saddens me is that Jake doesn't smile or acknowledge me. Instead, he looks colder than ice, and I witness him grab Kelly by the arm and lead her toward the table. Come on, let's go. I stare after him, and Mark chuckles. Ouch, this might be harder than I thought. He peers down at me. You have to get him Alone. But I'm afraid this is where I must leave you. My eyes widen. What? Where are you going? His smile is hesitant, and he looks conflicted. You see that woman over there? He points at a table with a blonde, crying woman. I know her. She was supposed to come here on a date, but judging by how she is crying, she was most likely ditched. A strange expression settles over Mark's face, and I am shocked when I realize what it is. It's anger. I've never seen him look this royally pissed off before, and I laugh. Go to her. I can handle eating with the hockey guys alone. I beam up at him, filled with confidence. Most players know me from the hockey fan club anyway. I look at the table and notice Logan and Nathan sitting with Alice and Rebel, and I smile. I will be fine. Good. Mark looks relieved and turns his hyper-focus back to the blonde woman. Again. Because this is the choice I make. Huh. Come again. Choice. He breathes a laugh, biting his lower lip. You wouldn't understand, but I think everything happens for a reason. He looks thoughtful for a moment, then smiles widely. If this works out, thank Kelly for me. Wait, what? Thank Kelly, I exclaim. But I thought you hated her. He laughs out loud at that. No time to explain. I got to go. I have a woman's day to save. Good luck with Jake. With that, Mark leaves me alone, but I don't feel sad. I look at the crying woman, see her look up from the table in shock, and this warm feeling settles over me when Mark pulls out a chair and picks up the ordering menu. He says something to her, and she laughs. It might be the cutest thing I've seen today. Winnie. Hello, Winnie. Nice to see you. Rebel holds up her glass for me with a big cheer. She has switched places with Logan to sit on my left side when I walk up to the table. Alice, however, isn't sitting down. She stands up from her seat and gets this sparkly look on her face before coming to hug me. Winnie, hi. I hug her back. How are you? I'm good. How are you? Before I can answer, Nathan speaks. Here she comes, my biggest rival in law, Winnie. I swear there is a romance going on here. He sighs but hides a smile. Happy to see you too, big guy, I tell him and pat his shoulder. Have you gotten thinner? He snorts. Shut up. I'm working out harder than ever. I grin. It shows. I'm just teasing. People around the table snicker, including Logan. I feel welcome sitting by the large table the Plaza Hotel has assembled for us. Oh, and since you wondered, I'm feeling pretty okay, I inform Alice and beam at her. Mark won't be joining us, though. He needed to take care of something urgent. We saw. Alice sits down beside me, grimacing. But you're fine, right? We kind of assumed it was a friendly date anyway. Oh, it was. My eyes flicker to Jake, whose cold expression turns less icy after hearing me confirm I'm not into Mark. Interesting. It hits me then that Jake was probably mad because I told him I don't date nice guys, and then I went here with Mark. He must have been so confused, thinking I was a hypocrite. Well, you're finally here, so can we move on with the celebrations? Kelly, who I've never met before, says in a rather bitchy tone. I would like for us to order some drinks. Alice blinks in surprise, seemingly confused by the other woman's attitude, before she finds words. Oh, of course. Excellent. Kelly claps her hands, and Alice looks at me questioningly. I shrug at her. I don't know why Kelly dislikes me. Unless Jake told her about me or something. Adds by pub future. Either way, I shake away all negative energy and jealousy and focus on my friends. I'm here to have fun. A few hours later, we aren't at the hotel anymore, but getting drunk at a bar. The hockey guys I don't know well aren't with us. It's Nathan, Alice, Logan, Rebel, Kelly, Jake, and me, the single girl who feels awkward not cuddling with anyone. Alice is drunk out of her mind. She is finally not pregnant and got a babysitter, so she is cuddling with Nathan. He has called a cab. Already. And her legs are dangling down from his lap. As for Rebel and Logan, they are doing shots, by the bar. And Kelly. She is drunk, clinging to Jake's forearm and talking shit. About me. She seems to have this idea that I can't hear her. Jake is currently busy ignoring her. He called a cab for her. That, my friend, is perfect for me. As soon as Kelly is gone, I will confess my feelings. Mark said Jake and Kelly weren't exclusive or serious, and I will take his word for it. So I wait. I order shots with Rebel and Logan, laugh, and have fun, and once Jake is alone, Rebel smirks at me. Go get him, she pushes the small of my back. While drinking, I told her of my plans, and now even Logan is cheering me on. Tell him how you feel. It's not wrong, the guy needs to know he has options. I swallow thickly. Okay, here goes. I leave Logan and Rebel by the bar and set the course for the corner of the bar. Jake is talking to some girl, and my heart pounds. Faster and faster. Can I do this? Yes, I can. Even though it's scary. Jake has this presence now. It feels like my blood is boiling when he is in the same room or paying me attention. I'm already dizzy, and when he looks up and tilts his head, smiling, I almost bail. My stomach does this unwelcome flip, and by some miracle, I stare forward. Hi. I feel so awkward standing in front of him. The girl scowls at me and opens her mouth. Who are you? I arch an eyebrow at her, but Jake beats me to it by saying, Winnie, my best friend. There you are. Before I know it, I'm squeezed into a hug and lifted up from the ground while the girl stares at us. I'm shocked. The girl is shocked. And once I place my hands on Jake's shoulders and wrap my legs around him like a monkey, she storms away. I can't help but laugh. What did you do that for, your dog? Jake leans in closer, voice all soft. She was rude to you, so I made sure to put her in place. The thudding in my chest speeds up. I'm speechless. I didn't expect Jake to do that for me, and he makes a smug face as I stare at him. Eyebrows lifted, and a huge grin. Your heart is beating really fast. I don't say anything. I'm embarrassed. It's as if my brain just now realizes that we are practically hugging. My hands are on Jake's broad shoulders, eyes locked onto his face. I don't know what to say or where to go, and his amusement grows. You have this look on your face. I don't have to ask him what kind of look. I am blushing and still gazing into his blue eyes, more nervous than ever. I should be confessing, but it's not exactly easy. You're very talkative today, he teases while walking toward the door. We both know that I can walk by myself, yet no one is trying to correct this intimacy between us. I like having him hug me and take a deep breath. I better just blurt it out, even if it's embarrassing. I was wrong. I throw out the words the second we are outside the bar. Jake's mouth opens, but I quickly muffle it with my hand. That makes him pause in his steps, and I nervously laugh. Just listen, okay? I can't have you talking, or I won't dare to say this. He freezes but then nods his understanding. I can also feel his lips curving into a smile underneath my palm. It tickles. Good. I remove my hand from his lips. But it only makes it worse now I can see his smile, and I groan in frustration. Stop smiling at me like that. He snorts. What have I done? Nothing. You adjust. I sigh. Can I just kiss you? He pulls his lips into his mouth as if trying his hardest not to smile. No. You will have to say it. Okay. I inhale and exhale dramatically. Jake, I'm sorry. I was wrong. I didn't know what I wanted, but I do now. I want you, and you are a bastard for making me say it out loud. My cheeks are burning. My heart is pounding, and I am so nervous that I might fall dead to the ground. Why are you nervous? Because, well, you're with Kelly. The gentle look in his eyes kind of makes me want to scream. Especially since it's obvious. He knows I'm jealous. Well, I got options now, don't I? Maybe I don't want to date Kelly at all. But that's. He silences me with a kiss, and that's the end of this discussion. Winnie. After making out with Jake, we head outside to find a cab. The air is chilly, but that's alright. Jake's warm arms are still around me, refusing to let go. It's perfect. He is so warm that I don't even want to use my own legs anyway. I could stay like this forever, clinging to him like a koala. You're so warm, I mutter against his neck. And you smell nice. Jake chuckles. Are you drunk? No. What makes you think that? You're just so filled with compliments today. It's a little bit suspicious, is all. But hey, I'm not complaining about it. You better not. I had to work up a lot of courage to say it. I giggle. Or perhaps, I'm not as sober as I think I am. That's probably the case. Hey, that's mean. Suddenly, I hear a chuckle from our side that doesn't belong to Jake. I'm glad you two found each other. It was about damn time. Jake and I both turn our heads and see Nathan grinning at us. His cab is probably about to arrive, and it's probably time. Alice looks done for tonight. Her head is resting on his shoulder, and her dark hair is spilling out in every direction. I smile at the image. I've always found Alice and Nathan's relationship interesting. He used to be her bully, but today, he acts like her sweet, large bodyguard. You heading home? Jake asks. Yeah, we are heading home, Nathan confirms, then strokes Alice's back with a fond expression. She looks like a front-side backpack on her huge husband's frame. She stirs a little in her sleep, and my heart melts a little when Nathan holds her closer too. Ads by Pub Future. Him. You're so cold. Nathan mumbles. But don't worry, we will get you home quickly. Ow. Alice, I say, is she not feeling well? Nathan meets my eyes. She hasn't shown any signs of nausea. I think she will be perfectly fine by tomorrow. But yes, my baby definitely had too much alcohol tonight. I'm shocked that she hasn't puked by the amount yet. Jake snorts, but it's not mean, it's one out of concern. Is she still conscious? An amused smile curves Nathan's lips. Yes. Alice just got sleepy from the buzz and is now busy snoring. He tightens his hold on his wife, hugging her like she is the most precious thing in the world. Sometimes, this little one forgets. She is a lightweight, and it's been forever since we had time on our own, so she had a little too much fun tonight. No big deal. I just have to take her out more often. Oh, definitely, I say. Tonight was fun. It really was. I had flashbacks from our college days tonight, and I definitely want to hang out again. It was a lot of fun. Nathan kisses Alice's forehead just as the cab arrives. An exasperated sigh leaves Nathan's lips. Finally, we have been waiting forever for that cab. Jake chuckles. Have a good night. You too. Nathan gives us one last glance back. Have a good night. And don't hesitate to give us a call if you want to hang out. He aims a wink at me. Double dating would be fun. Alice has been complaining that she misses you, Winnie. You live far away, but you should know you are always welcome to stay at our place. We might have a million kids, but there is also a guest bedroom. His words warm my heart. Thank you. I will definitely visit soon. Alice would like that a lot. She thinks you don't want to hang with her because she has children and that you find her uncool and annoying now that she is a mom. That's not true, I exclaim. I just don't have the money to travel. I wouldn't mind paying for your flight ticket if it means making my wife happy, Nathan says. Ask me next time, and don't feel bad about it. We are rich. I will definitely make use of that. Nathan leaves, and I look at Jake. His arms are still around me, which is good. It's cold outside, but his body is like a furnace. I shudder a little, and his expression grows concerned. You want to head home? Jake grimaces at his choice of words. Sorry. To my apartment, I mean. That would be nice. I yawn and wrap my arms tighter around his neck. It feels like the most natural thing to do. You don't mind carrying me to a cab, do you? He breathes a laugh in my ear. I can't be worse than Nathan, can I? You're not worse than Nathan. I raised all of you hockey guys, and I know for a fact that you are all good guys. No one is worse than the other. Raised us. Jake questions with a paling face. I'm sorry to burst your bubble, sweetheart, but you're younger than me. Yet I see myself as your mother sometimes. I don't. But yeah, I kind of did in the past. All the hockey guys were like my children. My very big children. Eve, don't say that. Jake sounds horrified. You can't give me a love confession and then say you see yourself as my mother. Winnie, that is sickening. You've watched too much Game of Thrones. House of the Dragon. I correct. I love that show, but yeah, there is a lot of incest. Still, he grimaces. You sicken me with your words. It's not even funny. A little funny. I'm laughing inwardly. I agree with Jake and find this topic sickening, but I like messing with him. Not even a little. I would be laughing at Jake's disgusted tone, but I'm too exhausted. I want a bed and a cozy blanket. I don't know how, but the cold air makes me even more tired. It should be the other way around. The fact that I'm freezing should make it hard to sleep, yet my eyes are already close to fluttering shut. Jake squeezes me. Someone is a sleepyhead. Damn right I am. Staying awake is becoming harder and harder. You're fine with sharing the same bed, right? A tired laugh escapes me. Do I get to touch your abs? Now it's Jake's turn to laugh. You must be tired to say that out loud. That or the alcohol is finally hitting your brain. Or maybe I'm tired of pretending you're not sexy and basically walking sex on a stick. I challenge. I like that answer. He kisses my cheek, and his warm breath hits my ear in a way that curls my toes. Let's head home, and yes, I will let you touch my abs. Winnie, the ride back from the restaurant is crazy. Jake and I might be sitting in a cab, but we are tailed. Plaza Hotel protects its guests and doesn't allow paparazzi, but it's free for all once we are outside their borders. Wow, sometimes I forget that you are an athlete superstar. I elbow him in the side and grin. Right wing and playing for the NHL. You've made it big, Jake. I'm so proud of you. His eyes darken, and there is a grumpy pout on his lips. Don't you fucking dare start treating me differently. I laugh even though Jake is serious. I sober up a little seeing his frustrated expression, and I squeeze his hand, smiling as if to reassure him I'm not starstruck by him. It would kill him if I started seeing him through heart-shaped lenses like the rest of his fans. I haven't given it much thought, though whenever Jake walks into a room, there is an invisible sizzle in the air. The guy is famous and looked up to. Even at the Plaza Hotel with many rich guests, people were paying attention to him. Especially the girls. I mean those words, but I can't help the flutter when Jake looks at me with a relieved smile. He is cute, and I squeeze his hand harder. I mean, you're pretty darn amazing on the ice. And I love hockey, but you've always been my friend, so no, I won't ever start seeing you differently. I won't be starstruck. You won't ever be starstruck by me. Jake challenges with an easy grin, and we both know he isn't talking about hockey. A blush spreads over my cheeks, and I look at the driver's seat. They aren't paying attention to us. Probably used to driving around celebrities, and I sigh before half glaring at Jake. Wait until we are at your place before those jokes come in. He chuckles. Alright, there's a yawn too. I'm so tired. Me too. I really am. How about we fall asleep watching a movie or something? My words surprise him. That's alright with you. Yeah. I stare at him. Why wouldn't it be? 11. His lips go soft. I just thought you expected something else. Oh, I awkwardly laugh and brush some hair away from my face. Gosh, this is embarrassing to talk about. Well, I want that from you, but aren't you tired? Tired. His tone is playful. Around you, it feels like I'm fully awake. He looks down between his legs, and my eyes follow. When I meet his gaze again, he is smirking. Wouldn't you agree? Oh, you're bad, I say, and swat at his chest, sighing. This car ride can't be over fast enough. Now it's Jake's turn to chuckle. He seems to know I'm turned on, and it becomes harder and harder to sit still in the car seat. Ads by Pub Future. Then, once we are outside his place, we rush to the door of the building. Jake and Mark live in a flat, and the paparazzi are waiting outside for us, but we are wearing hoods. They can't see our faces. And Jake is pressing the code to the door with incredible speed. It opens with a sound, and Jake ushers me inside. Quickly, he says, holding up the door. Get into the elevator. I give him a nod and walk inside. There is a huge lobby, but no one is working the desk at this hour. It's empty, and I press on the elevator, waiting for it to come down. Jake is standing beside me, this hulking giant of a man that has given me permission to touch him. A shiver of a thrill moves past me, and when the elevator door closes, I press my hand to his chest. He looks down at me, mildly surprised, and I tilt my head, smiling. I'm going to ride you tonight. Jake groans. Fuck. I like that sound and put my hands on his broad shoulders. My pussy is eager, and I climb the man like a tree. It doesn't take long before Jake's hands are all over me, and I feel him hardening against me as I kiss his soft, talented lips. Holy shit, that feels good. My whole body is a full, sensual wave as my hands wind up at the back of Jake's head, and our tongues meet in a feverish, intense French kiss. I can't get enough of him, and I'm thankful when the doors open, and we are inside his flat. It's huge, luxurious, and perfect, but I don't have time to watch it. Jake is my sole focus, and I can't stop touching him. I want him to lose his clothes, and he breathes a laugh into my mouth as I tug at his shirt, needing him to show me his body. Someone is eager. He doesn't sound like he minds. He seems thrilled by the fact I can't stop touching him. Well, I say, kissing his lower lip. I'm tired of being shy. Tonight is about taking what I want, and I want you. His eyes widen, and he whispers, Jesus. Hearing him say that is everything to me. It tells me Jake wants me as much as I want him, which fills my chest with this liberating feeling. Suddenly I feel sexy, powerful. I kiss him again while he carries us into a bedroom. Then I'm put down momentarily for him to remove his clothes. I'm removing mine too. I can't get naked fast enough, and once his gorgeous, ripped body comes into view, I get up from bed. Jake stares down at me. What are you? I shove his chest. The man is made of bricks and lifts an eyebrow at me, clearly not getting it. But I don't like repeating myself, so I push harder, and he finally gets it. Jake sits down on the bed, still almost as tall as me, and I smirk before kneeling before him. It's then he is finally getting it. His lips form an O as I reach for his length, grabbing it and bringing the tip into my mouth. He swallows just as I lick his top, and his large palms grip the sheets. His breaths are coming in fast already, and his beautiful, erect cock is twitching as if it's taking him everything to not just come immediately. It excites me, especially when he groans. Fucking hell, what are you doing to me, Winnie? I like my name on his tongue, and I peer up at him while his cock is in my mouth. Jake's eyes are closed, a concentrated look on his face. He is so beautiful, hard and strong. My blood is boiling for Jake, and my pussy is clenching with the need to later claim him. I'm so wet for this man, and I fight the urge to climb into his lap. Every instinct tells me to ride him, but once he moans, I'm reminded of what I'm doing. I'm bringing him pleasure first. I'm going to make him come hard inside my mouth. I take him in deeper, moving my lips up and down his shaft, and press down with my tongue. My tempo speeds up with every long stroke, and his fingers entangle in my hair. Oh, Winnie, he moans. Oh, God, why does he sound so hot when he moans? I'm soaking wet. My juices slip down my legs as I take him all the way in and then out again, fast enough to draw out another moan from my favorite man. He is panting above me now. You are killing me, you are going to be the death of me, holy fuck. I smile but don't stop working him, and he hisses a low breath, and a guttural moan tumbles out of him when I hum. The vibrations are sure to make the blowjob better, and it does. Jake's hips bucks. Jesus. I'm satisfied with Jake's reaction and swirl my wet, hungry tongue over his tip. He shudders. There are tiny little jerks in his entire body, and I feel powerful knowing I'm the cause of them. I got to continue and feel my motivation growing. Jake's pleasure is the most important thing in the world right now. I suck him like a lollipop, with abandon and plenty of speed. Jake moans again and thrusts into my mouth. I let him. It's sexy how he no longer can't help it, and I pick up my pace, desperate to make this gorgeous man come into my mouth. He is groaning louder now. Oh fuck, oh fuck. Jake is moving in and out of me, matching my pace, and it's the most beautiful thing ever. I'm aching for him, and suddenly he jerks, exploding into my mouth, and I swallow. I don't mind his taste and look up at his face. Jake is watching me with an amazed expression, and when I smirk and lick my lips, a low, soft curse leaves his lips. Then, before I know it, he lifts me into his lap. I do it without question. My eyes closed, my head bent, and my back arched as his fingers enter me. I pump back and forth, and once I'm going, Jake's mouth is on my nipples, suckling them. It does me in. I groan and sink my fingers into Jake's hot skin. He is sweaty and a bit stinky, but I find it sexy. I pound down hard on his fingers, and he slides a third one inside. Lord, he will ruin me. It shoves up and up until my head is spinning. I scream as the climax rips through my core, hurtling at lightning speed and crashing over me like a wave. The sensation is overwhelming. I'm coming and coming and coming. Fuck, Winnie. Jake whispers into my ear. Do you even know how fucking beautiful you are? I smile at his words and collapse against his shoulder, breathing a laugh when his hand reaches into his bedside table. A condom is pulled out, and Jake somehow manages to put it on while keeping me in his lap, hovering over his fat cock. Then, once he is ready, we kiss while his cock enters my tingling pussy. I'm sensitive as hell, but I want him. I sink down on his cock, riding him while tasting him. His lips are delicious, and I smile harder. Tonight is all about us. I don't know what we are, but I know what I want us to be. Jake, better share the same idea, or my heart will be crushed. Winnie, I didn't wake up on earth today. I woke up in heaven. Jake is snoring lightly behind me, and his muscular arms are around me. He is warm in the cold room, the perfect furnace. My hand squeezes his enormous forearm that is crossed over my chest. He is holding me like I'm precious. A smile spreads over my lips, but it disappears when I hear banging on my bedroom door. Jake, it's Mark. Go. Jake growls at his brother, and when I jump in fright at his voice, it only makes him pull me back so that his naked chest turns into a hard wall behind. I wouldn't fucking think so, he mutters behind me in a voice that seems deeper in the morning. You are staying with me. I've waited way too long for this. Oh, is Winnie with you? Mark still hasn't left. That's good. I was worried about her. 11. Yes, Winnie is in here. Jake interrupts, irritated with his brother. Now, leave already. We are trying to fucking sleep. Loud giggles escape from my mouth. Trying to sleep. My lips won't stop twitching from my amusement. How am I supposed to sleep when you are yelling like that? Jake breathes a laugh and stretches until his lips are on my neck, nipping at the skin there. I'm sorry. Butterflies swarm my stomach when I receive countless kisses from the big man behind me. Part of me can't believe I'm sharing a bed with Jake, my childhood friend, and honestly, perhaps my best friend. My insides warm at that thought. Jake has always had my back, and I'm starting to realize I like him. Not like, but I really like him, and that's scaring. Here is a man who got everything put together. Jake has a career, a big flat, eats healthily, has a body to prove it, and is an athlete superstar. Jake is a proper adult while I'm driving my mother's old car. Sigh. The hot guy who is busy making hickeys on my neck is out of my league. That much is clear. Whatever this is, it might end in a big disaster. Adds by Pub Future. Or it won't. Either way, I like to think there is a chance for us. I have years of studying before becoming an attorney, but maybe Jake won't mind the distance between our towns. Or that I'm not rich enough to pay for plane tickets. My stomach plummets. Jake, I ask while enjoying his big hand massaging my breasts. He is gentle yet confident in the way he touches me. It speaks of a man who knows I love his touch. MHM. I'm overthinking and don't know what to do. How do I stop? He laughs, amused, and those arms of his hug me closer. What are you overthinking about? It's not or never, and I choke out the words. I want to ask you out. He is silent for a while but keeps stroking me. When he does speak, he sounds playful and happy. I'm failing to see the problem. Why won't you just ask me out? There is an amused chuckle, and my face heats to 1,000,000,000 degrees. I didn't explain things properly. So I try again. Asking you out isn't the hard part. How do we make it work? Dating each other would be nice, but I snort. I can't even buy plane tickets. Winnie. Jake's rumbling voice has become commanding, silencing me as he continues to stroke a lazy thumb over my naked breast. I don't want to overstep or anything. If I do, I want you to tell me. But I'm not expecting you to pay for shit if you date me. Don't think I'm unaware we're at different points in our lives. You are studying. I get that. But I'm in a position to comfortably spoil my special someone, so when you're with me, I'm spoiling you. Be it food, drinks, plane tickets, or whatever you need, I will take care of it. End of the story. Oh my god. I'm all for equality and all that, but this man. I could just, no, I fucking should. I turn around and sit up on my knees. Jake peers up at me, curious about what I might be up to. Then, when I attack his lips and lock my legs on either side of his broad chest, he chuckles into my mouth. It gets muffled by my hungry mouth, though, and his eyes twinkle when we break from each other. You like that idea that much? Huh, yes, because it means I can see you more often. His eyes soften, and my ovaries can't take the sweet smile breaking over his lips. I kiss him again, harder this time. I'm unsure what Jake is doing to me, but it feels like I'm melting under his touch. I love him to bits. 3 days later, I'm back to reality, and I already miss Jake. I spent 3 days with him, and it wasn't enough. We ate fancy breakfasts that Jake put together. We tested wine and pretended we were fancy at Tobias's hotel. We watched movies but kissed instead of following the plot. I still can't take my hands off of that guy. He is just so ripped. Huge. Big. How did I get lucky? Jake also bought me new clothes and insisted it was for his sake, and then we ended up on the first page of a sports magazine. Why? Because the guy is refusing to understand he is famous. I'm now his mysterious love interest. Some women hate me now. Winnie. I look up and meet the friendly smile of a girl from one of my classes. I'm sitting inside the college library even though I'm close to graduating and don't need to study. I don't know why, but I feel at peace here. I guess that's why I come here so often. Dana. Right. I say. Yes. Her smile grows. She is pretty with legs for days and beautiful brown hair cascading down her head. So, I've seen the newspaper with you and Jake Anderson in it. Jake doesn't use Ford like Tobias since they don't have the same father, but it's still shocking to hear someone use Jake's last name. Mask. What about it? Unsure where this conversation is heading. Well, she pulls at her sleeves. Everyone knows you were friends with the hockey guys, like really good friends with them. And, these rumors about your dating Jake can't be real. She laughs a little at that. But I was wondering if you could give me Jake's number, or Mark's. If they are single, I would appreciate. No, I interrupt, unprepared for the venom in my voice. I'm jealous, something I've never been before, at least not to this extent. And I glare at the woman. Jake and I are dating, and I won't hand you his number. At first, Dana gapes at me, but then she laughs. Oh wow, you are actually serious. How did you manage that? Her eyes lit up. Quote, wait, don't tell me you buttered him up for this. I mean, you didn't date him before he became famous, so good job making him love you before that happened was such a smart move. Smirking, Dana turns around, and my eyes stay glued to her back. Her words rubbed me the wrong way, and I can't help the anxiety washing over me. I'm not a gold digger, right? Certainly, Jake can't think that. Winnie, I miss you, Jake exclaims into the phone on the first dial. He sounds thrilled that I'm calling. I've been to the gym, been out for a run, and done everything and anything to not think about you. It's not working, though. I miss you so badly. A bubble of joy lifts from my chest at the warm welcome, and the turbulent anxiety in my stomach evaporates. I needed to hear sweet words after what Dana told me, and Jake delivered. I'm glad you've missed me, I mutter into the phone, grumpy because even though I don't want to think Dana was right, it's still upsetting me. She threw a curveball at me with her words, and I wet my lips, needing to speak out. Say, you don't think I'm a gold digger, do you? What? Jake laughs, amused that this is the first thing I ask him on the phone. No, why would I think that? But, if you were, would it really matter, though? Now it's my turn to laugh. You wouldn't care if I were a gold digger. I like to spoil you. I roll my eyes even though he can't see. I'm going to become a successful attorney and won't need you to spoil me soon. Independent and all that crap, that will be me. Soon as in a few years, and with me, you won't need to worry about student loans and noodles while you are an intern. I'm not letting you pay my student loans and food, oh, no way. We haven't even been together for that long. You're not stepping up as my sugar daddy. Jake hums in a playful tone. I kinda like you're calling me daddy, though. Oh, stop it, you. You are making me blush, my cheeks are burning, but I'm smiling too. He is definitely a daddy, but I can't make his ego too big while on the phone. Hey, not to change the subject or anything, but how do you feel about skydiving with me? Jake laughs in surprise. Are you joking right now? Skydiving? Really? No, I'm not joking. I thought it would be a fun activity for us to do. I have a couple of free weeks before I start as an intern. You're not scared of heights, are you, big man? Of course not. Jake's voice doesn't sound very convincing, and when I laugh at him, he sighs. Maybe a little. Skydiving sounds extreme. I wouldn't feel very manly after I shat my pants. Fair enough. How about kayaking? Down a stream? He asks. Yeah, I like working in a team with Jake, and kayaking would be perfect for getting the team feeling. I can do that. Should we bring a tent and shit too? Ads by Pub Future. A tent and shit. I giggle. I think you mean beer and hot dogs. A tent is a good idea, though. We should also make a fire, try not to get mosquito bitten, and go stargazing. It will be awesome and so much fun. Jake laughs, on with the idea. Sure, I have a game tomorrow night, but I can probably take off from practice after that. If I tell the coach I've met a woman and we will be kayaking and hiking, he will be happy. It's a physical activity too. True, I muse. But if you need more training, you can always carry my fat ass up a hill or something. You aren't fat, like at all. I could probably run up a hill while carrying your skinny ass. Since throwing insults at one another isn't new, and how we roll, I don't take offense and laugh. Don't call my ass skinny. Make me. I snort. I will beat you in your fat ass once I see you again. You in what army? He challenges. I know you are ticklish, Jake Anderson. I say in a dark tone. And I'm not afraid of using that against you. He barks a laugh but calms down a little. You know that I mean no offense, right? I have nothing against your ass. It's a perfect ass. No need to get mad at me and bring out the big guns. Oh, I know you meant no harm, Jake boy, but it's too late. I won't let you touch my ass after you've offended me. What? He sounds horrified. That's right, I say in a matter-of-fact voice. I will wear the new thongs you bought, the black laced ones, but I won't let you touch the goods. Nope. This ass will be out of your reach. You can't do that to me. I can, and I will. Jake laughs, and we talk some more on the phone until we both fall asleep without hanging up. The next day, I'm half sleeping in the passenger seat while Jake is driving. I'm tired from the last-minute flight to Jake's part of the country. And by last minute, I mean calling Tobias in the middle of the night and begging him to fly me over. The cost. I'm babysitting Tobias's kids next weekend while he and Hannah go to a spa. The trade was definitely worth it. I love their kids, and have no idea why watching them would be a problem. Tobias, however, laughed darkly when I said that and uttered, "Oh, wait until you try to make them sleep, and you will understand the pain." Now I am questioning if I've made a mistake. My eyes slowly close to the soft music, but a bump in the road makes them fully open again. Jake laughs behind the wheel. Sorry. Quite the bumpy road out here. I will try to be more careful. No need. I dismiss his words with a grimace and sit straighter. I'm wearing Jake's hoodie. It entirely swallows me, but I pull it down to see better. Where exactly are you taking us? I have no idea. Jake tries to hide his grin but fails. He is beaming a second later at my stunned expression. What? It's a place in the middle of nowhere. Some place I found on Reddit. Reddit. I sigh heavily. Damn it, Jake. This is how we are going to die gruesome deaths. What if the location is the lair of a serial killer that lives off unsuspecting victims like us? Jake barks a laugh, showing me a glimpse of his teeth as he glances my way with amused eyes. Don't worry. I brought a gun. But you're welcome to sleep with me if you're scared. I will protect you. I shouldn't blush. Jake's words are so sugar sweet, and after fucking him, one would think I'm immune, but I'm not. My heart flips like a pancake, and I inhale deeply. I've missed sleeping with you. His expression softens, and he silently rests his hand on the middle console with his palm facing up. Thank the gods for automatic cars. I place my smaller hand in his, and he squeezes. Missed you too? His voice is a deep, soft rumble that sets off palpitations in my chest. They grow worse when he smiles. Quote, "It was a surprise that you picked camping as our date." I'm pleasantly surprised. Really? Yes. He squeezes my hand again, stroking his thumb over my palm in a way that tickles. It will be just you and me out here. I think we need that. His eyes grow serious. Because a certain twin is a little too curious for his own good. Fucking Mark. I giggle. Isn't Mark seeing someone to keep him busy? I think it's sex without a string, Jake shrugs. He doesn't talk much about it, but that isn't the point. His brilliant smile is back. The point is that out here in the woods, no one will be able to hear your moans of pleasure when I fuck you against a tree. I laugh out loud. So romantic. He winks at me. You know it. My smile remains even as we park the car and set up a tent close to a nearby lake. We make fire, grill some marshmallows, and make plans to go to sleep soon. It's already late, and we only wanted to get out. Here to kayak first thing in the morning. So, we make ourselves cozy inside the tent. I expect Jake to sleep beside me, skin to skin. But he slides into his own sleeping bag. It's disappointing. We are both lying like cocoons beside each other, staring at the ceiling of the tent, and it sucks. After a few minutes, I can't take it anymore, and I turn to face him. I want to tell him that we should combine our sleeping bags into one bed, but the brute is already sleeping. Breathing through his mouth and eyelashes spread over his sun-kissed cheekbones. Jake is so cute. My insides warm, and I sigh heavily. I guess it's not the end of the world. We can cuddle and have sex tomorrow. Sleep tight, I mumble and close my own eyes. Because tomorrow, you won't be getting any sleep at all. Winnie, I experience nightmare after nightmare of Dana telling me that I'm not good enough for Jake. I shake and kick in my sleep. My heart is on fire, and muffled words leave my lips until a strong hand jostles me awake, and I blink back to reality. Winnie, it's Jake, and he is squatting beside me. Wake up, breakfast is ready for you. Be breakfast. My mouth feels dry, and my throat is sore. I think I've been talking in my sleep. Oha, I made pancakes, a grin spreads over Jake's face. I feel like a total wildling now. Can you believe it? Pancakes made over an open fire in an old, dusty frying pan. You are adorable. I sit up, unable to prevent my lips from curling into a smile. I know Jake loves cooking and baking, but they pride in his eyes for making pancakes outside a kitchen. He is so sweet. I would prefer to be called sexy. You're sexy, too, I tell him. And if those pancakes are as good as they smell, I will go down on my knees and suck you. You don't know how much I love your breakfast pancakes. He snorts and shakes his head with an indulgent smile. I love when he gives me that kind of sweet expression. He is undoubtedly proud to provide for me and hurries to fetch me a paper plate. I only make it out of the tent to sit down on a blanket area that Jake has prepared for us before he returns with my food. Here, you go. Pancakes with maple syrup and blueberries. Your favorite. The stupid, toothy grin that settles over my lips makes Jake snort a laugh. I don't have to say anything for him to know how much these simple displays of affection mean to me. Still, when he sits beside me, I smile up at him, a little teary-eyed. I used to take it for granted, you know. The way you treat me. I guess it's because you always did, and I'm an asshole. Jake shoves a pancake piece into his mouth with a one-time use fork made of renewable material. I've liked you for a long time. His smile is infectious. That's why I've always gone the extra mile for you, hoping you would notice. I beam up at him. Does your teammates know that you're secretly the sweetest guy ever? Jake snaps at that, and the reddish hue on his skin and downright outraged expression on his face make me fall into a fit of giggles. I'm not sweet toward everyone. Jake retorts, saying the words as if I've offended him. You're the only one I treat differently. And on the ice, everyone knows that I'm lethal and one hell of a player. Ads by Pub Future. Lethal. I tease in a sing-song voice and cut into my pancake, glancing up at him. Since when are hockey players lethal? Please, everyone knows sports are replacement wars, just less bloody. Instead of killing each other, we get to fight other states on the ice and celebrate when we win. And you like the idea of other players seeing you as lethal? Yes, very much. As a right wing, my opponents should all fear me. I'm on the offense, and I look for scoring chances. Looking intimidating is part of the job. That second of hesitation from my opponents. I live for it. Of course you do, and you're very talented on the ice. I bump him with my shoulder and smile wider. But underneath your intimidating appearance, there is a big softy. I am not a softy. Jake growls, glaring at me with his lips blue from the blueberries. My grin turns broad. Oh, yes, you are. But I love that about you. You take care of me, make me feel special and loved. A heavy silence falls after I've spoken, and I inwardly curse. I've said the L word twice today, and Jake's mouth opens and closes a few times before he openly stares at me. I stare right back at him, feeling vulnerable because it just slipped. The worst part, it felt natural to say it, which is terrifying. It's even scarier that Jake isn't saying anything. I don't know what that means. Despite his fearsome appearance, muscles for days, and fame, my man often becomes shy when complimented or called sweet. I can't tell if he is shy right now or doesn't feel the same way as I do, and that's why he is keeping silent. Regardless, he is making me nervous, so I change the subject. So, kayaking, when was the last time you did that? My heart is racing, but it helps to force another topic. My last time was back at summer camp when we were teenagers. You remember that? Jake breaks out of his stupor with a chuckle. I do. We won that competition and had the fastest time out of everyone who went down the stream. You and I were unstoppable. I smile at him. You remember the prize as well? Of course, he grins at me. We got to eat steaks while everyone else shared a package of hot dogs. Damn, those were the times. We gloated over it too, kept saying how juicy the steaks were, and Mark was grumpy because you had teamed with me, not with him. I laugh, and Jake does the same. The tension is gone, thank God. We are back to joking around, and we eat our breakfast while Jake tells me how rare it is to make friends with teammates. He calls himself lucky to be playing among old friends, and I smile and nod. I like hearing Jake talk. He never did it very often in the past, always letting me or Mark talk over him. It made it hard for me to judge what type of character he was, but I'm seeing him now. Jake is sweet, but he would probably kick my ass if I called him that often. His ego can't handle such compliments, and more than often, he blushes when I point out how soft he is. I really like it when he does. Seeing him all bashful is precious and makes me wish I had my camera. After finishing our breakfast, we make it to the river. We walk upstream, and surprisingly enough, we find other people there. Some are already going with their tandem kayaks, and I smile as a couple passes us while shouting, "Woohoo! This is so much fun!" My excitement grows, and I beam at Jake. Let's hurry. I want to go next and even faster than them. Jake smiles at me, but his happy expression falters, and his entire body freezes in motion. I follow his gaze, baffled by his reaction, until I see what he is staring at. It's another couple. A man is busy going through his backpack on a rock, and a woman wearing an equally dumbfounded expression as Jake is staring straight at us. It doesn't take a genius to figure out there is some story here, a history between Jake and the pretty woman. She hasn't even seen me yet, and a bittersweet smile touches her lips as she looks at my man. Jake, her voice is soft, and for some reason, my chest constricts when she walks closer. What a pleasant surprise. I didn't know you were in the area. You should have said something. Before I know what is happening, the woman embraces Jake in a hug, and I am left gaping at them. I know Jake has dated plenty of girls, but he always kept them a secret from me. Seeing one of his exes is strange, and I'm not going to lie, I'm jealous. Cindy. Jake steps away from her, finally having returned to his normal calm state of mind. It's nice to see you again. Very nice. Cindy still hasn't even looked at me yet and instead turns around, nodding at the man still searching through the backpack. My brother and I thought the warm weather would be nice for kayaking, and so did our friends. Everyone else already went down the stream. My brother and I are the last ones to go, and after we hit the finish line, we will grill hamburgers with our friends. You can join us if you would like. To my utter surprise, Jake smiles and says, sure, why not? Great. The more, the merrier. Cindy beams at him. I feel entirely ignored. She is taller than me, and I feel out of place or like Jake's unseen kid who is plagued with the burden of watching him flirt with some single mom. See you down the river. After Cindy leaves us, I arch an eyebrow at Jake. I don't directly ask him why he accepted the offer to eat hamburgers with the others, and he doesn't seem to understand my irritation either. He simply smiles and says, hamburgers will be nice. I have to fight the urge to roll my eyes. I had hoped these days would only include us two, not Jake's gorgeous ex and her friends. Ugh. How do I tell Jake without sounding like a bitch?